right, there it is. Yep, we are live. We are going 20 laps with Scott Tiedt. It's a catchy new title I came up with. Jerry Prieshkin is also joining us, gonna help with the interview. So I'm just gonna hand it right over to Jerry.
Scott, first off, thank you for joining us, the inaugural version, 20 laps by Chris Shepard. Something we're trying to do new and different to really, as we talked about in the green room, get some exposure for the drivers, allow the race fans that opportunity who don't get down in the pits, and especially now with the COVID stuff where we're not allowed to let the fans come down in the pits. And we can't bring, Muhammad to the mountain. We're going to bring the mountain out. So, Scott, thanks for joining us tonight. Great to see you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
The first thing I'm going to throw out there, give me the 2 minute or maybe 5 minute bio history of Scott Tiedt and the street stock racing. How'd you get started? How long you doing this?
I got started back when I turned 15. Basically, started doing ice racing, and it was something that my parents made us to do at the time. It was something that you had to do a year of ice racing prior to being able to get your driver's license, kind of thing. And basically, just started doing that and been hooked in it ever since. Slowly getting more in depth in what we're doing, or adding to the pile of cars that we already have, and jumping in more divisions or classes, kind of thing, and just doing that. And now I think we're on the 5th year running street stocks, and then before running street stocks also did a year in the Dirt Devils up at Oshkosh.
Scott, when you show up at the track, your equipment and my interactions with you, it always looks super classy, and you put a lot of effort into that, and you do stuff that's a little bit unique. Tell the race fans about how that came about, with as far as putting the cars together and picking the bodies and doing stuff a little bit different than everyone else.
Yeah, when we first built this car, now 5 years ago, I was kind of, I got word that we can do different, bodies and stuff on the chassis. It doesn't have to be, the same body year to that same year chassis kind of thing. And I was sitting there talking to my dad, and I've always been a big fan of the '69 Chargers. It's always my dream car. Never going to be able to afford one that's on the road with the prices and stuff nowadays on them. But I didn't want to go with a metric Monty because they're all, to me, it's kind of a cookie cutter body style. I want to stand out. And on that token, no one really runs a whole lot of Dodge body cars. So we just happened to go up to a junkyard and looked around the yard to try and find, ideally I was looking for a '69 Charger when we first went there, and there wasn't one there. And we found a '74 Dodge Dart, and just kind of was looking. It was down between that and then a Chevy body. And I said, you know what? We just got to go with a Dodge and do something different that stands out from everybody else.
That's one of the things that's so cool with the street stocks is we see a variety of body styles that promote some fan interest. And I'm sure it's got to give you as a driver and a builder a great deal of pride in knowing you've done this and you're able to do something that really does look attractive.
Yep. Yeah, that was one reason why this last year when we decided to give a shot at some of the vintage racing, and being that we wanted to be able to run asphalt, to try it out with that, and run dirt track. Basically, we built another full frame Monte Carlo, and this time came across the complete '69 Dodge Charger body that we decided to use, and got I think on the car, the parts are from 5 different states, I think, to get everything rounded up to have a full, 69 Charger body on it to run the vintage stuff. And just kind of want to do that and come up with some cool old paint schema for it and something to go out and have some fun with it.
Scott, you've been running the dirt for a couple of years. You started out on the ice, and then moved on Dirt Devils on up the line. Aspirations wise, is street stock it? You're just comfortable in your own skin doing this, or is there a bucket list thing you want to do yet?
There's definitely more I want to do. We're actually currently we're gonna try our hand at a little bit of drag racing. I'm actually putting a car together as we speak. Basically, that started during this whole COVID-19 stuff. Got a little extra free time when not racing and not a whole lot of activities to be able to do. So we decided to start building another car. And I would also, one thing I've actually been looking into, I'd love to get into dirt late models. It's something that I've wanted to do now for quite a while. It's just waiting for the right time and right opportunity to start making the leap in that direction, kind of thing.
I know over the years we've seen a couple of the guys that run our weekly programs at Beaver Dam progress up into the late models and be successful in doing that. I think a lot of the things you learn, the skills that you pick up running on your Saturday night shows would serve you well moving into the dirt late models. Throwing another question out there. Obviously, none of us race for a living, do this for a living. Tell me about what the rest of the week entails for Scott Tiedt.
Basically, I do TIG welder during the week, so I do my normal, 40 hours plus of that during the week, and then basically any free time I have during the week is, do your little maintenance and upkeep on the weekly the weekly car for Beaver Dam, and along with do several side jobs as far as fabricating or modifying it, many different, anything that comes with any type of welding or tube bending or forming of some sheet metal, anything like that, and anything to make a little extra side cash to help keep the bank not as low, especially with all the race season stuff and all that stuff.
When we had you in the green room earlier, you had a sidekick with you there. She's with you pretty much every night I've seen you or paid attention at the track. But tell me about who comes with you when you're coming out to the racetrack.
That's my wife. Basically, she kind of got suckered into it back. I don't know how long we've been together now, but back when we started dating, I was already doing ice racing. So she was just kind of dragged along for every weekend when we went ice racing. And then from there on, just, she enjoys helping out in the pits. And basically, that's kind of between her and my dad. That's my crew, in a sense. So that's a lot of weekends spent, as family time together, and be able to, as you're out racing and enjoying what everybody does love most in life, you can also interact and basically have hangout time together, as a family and group kind of thing.
She does racing too. She races ice racing.
Yep. Yeah, she's been doing that now for 6 years, I think now, doing front wheel drive ice racing.
So is there any aspirations for a team car on the dirt?
We have been discussing some different things, and a few years ago we did look into a couple cars. She actually wants to get into the legend class, and that was something that would talk with my dad. My dad's actually want to get into that too, so there was talk about getting a car for them to basically share. So Saturday night, since we're already there, we just bring one more car along, and then depending on them, can take turns on two.
Might have to get a bigger trailer to fit them all in, but I'm sure you'll work that out.
Oh yeah, yep. We got something lined up if need be.
I think you know a good fabricator that could put that together. The when you talk about you do your own welding, your own fabricating, which is somewhat more getting more uncommon in today's racers. Um, is that a skill you learned from your dad? You learned as a trade school? Tell us about that.
It all started, it was kind of, my dad grew up on a farm, so it was the old farmer grab the stick welder and, slap a couple filler rods in there and hope it works, and that's kind of where it all started. It started from there, and I obviously was in a lot of shop classes in high school. And then, it kind of started off a lot between a stick welder and a gasless flux core welder, a little 110 setup. And from there, uh, decided a couple years after school I wanted to go more into the welding side of things, and then went to college for welding and stuff. And then from there, with a lot of talk with Scott Riedner, with him building my first chassis, and helping him a lot weld that during that process, kind of got me going. And all right, well, I think I can do this, and at the time I had a couple real cheap pipe vendors, and then it just slowly evolved into upgrading the equipment to some nice equipment to be able to use a lot more often, with more accurate bends and way to uh, basically take notes of everything to put it in a binder. And so anytime I have to make a bar, this bar, I go into my notes. It's already got my cut length and bends and all that kind of stuff, and can throw that stuff together now.
You mentioned Scott Riedner, and I don't know, Scott's very humble, one of past track champions at Beaver Dam, but he's also won championships at a number of other tracks, and that Scott's up for a very prestigious honor if he indeed gets enough votes as the Wisconsin Short Track Hall of Fame. I know on one of my other venues, I do the Drivers Meeting radio show, and we were blessed to be able to announce the finalists, and Scott was one of those finalists. So big shout out to him. And hey, anybody listening, check that deal out when the voting comes out. It'd be great to see not only Scott, but there's some very other worthy candidates on there. Um, I'm sure that would probably bring a bit of joy to your heart to see Scott getting inducted in there. The changing gears on you again, you've been racing a number of years, and give us a rundown of some of the toughest competitors you've had to race with out at Beaver Dam.
Yeah, it's right now one of my, one competitor I definitely see tough and fun to race against is Mike Held. I've been racing with him basically when we started ice racing, so him and I have been racing for basically damn near since we've been, 15, 16 kind of range, and race together, racing rear-wheel drives on the ice. And on the ice, we were always tight and close battles. And I think that's why you see to this day, a lot of races, there is a lot of times it's, we end up always finding ourselves side by side next to each other for a lot of tough battles, and we have a lot of good respect for both of us, and we'll rub each other a little bit to let each other know that we're there. But at the end of the day, we look back and we sit there and talk about all the fun we had while racing together, kind of thing.
And when Mike gives those little love taps to you, I can hear Ashley from the pits up in the scoring tower.
And Scott, everybody's got a drive or a motivating reason why they do this, the amount of time you spend in it. I'm looking for two names here. First is your racing mentor. Who do you go to when you're just stuck? You don't know what to do. And who do you look up to as your racing hero?
as far as my mentor, a lot of, any type of questions as far as trying new things or anything like that. I talk a lot with Scott Riedner, and being that he's got a lot of years as far as on asphalt and dirt, we've been using him a lot with running the vintage car. We've been last year we raced the Milwaukee Mile, and we did Madison a couple times last year, and going into something that I have no idea. I don't even know what to set some of the tire pressures at for going to asphalt. Because we're so used to all low pressures as far as ice racing and dirt racing, and so yeah, just talking with him a lot. He helped me through that, and that was a big hurdle. Just to kind of start figuring out things as far as set up that way. And as far as somebody I look up to in racing, I'm not sure if I have like a select person. I always think it's, to me, anybody I look up to is somebody that, when I was younger, going to like Columbus or Beaver Dam, I always think it's cool when you got drivers that are basically trying to get the next generation into the racing, world. And somebody that's going to treat fans with a lot of respect and kids, and do anything they can to keep kids motivated into the racing, giving them something to look forward to when they get older. Be like, hey, I seen this guy do this when they were racing. That looked really cool. Let's try and do this too when I get older, or something like that.
The tell us what's your proudest racing moment of your racing career?
Uh, Proudest would probably be a few years back, tying the championship with Mike Winters. Him and I had a great battle all year long. It was tight racing between us all year long, and came down to the final night. I don't remember if he was ahead or if I was ahead, but basically we went into the after racing the heat race. I think I ended up having a 1 point lead, and basically knew that I had to somehow get ahead of him. And I don't remember where it was as far as where we started, but yeah, as the night went on, I know he started a little ways ahead of me, and I remember I think I finally caught him with like 2 or 3 laps to go, and knew I had to figure out how to get around him, but I'm not going to be the one I'm not going to dump him going for the checker just to get around him, kind of thing. And even though I didn't win the championship year, I can still say that I tied, and still, take that as a win, I guess, for me, kind of sort of thing.
I think that's a great moment and a great thing for the race fans to look at. And look at you as a class act driver, and we're blessed with quite a few that have that class. And I know we really miss getting the fans down in the pits after the races, and this COVID stuff has created some challenges for everybody, not only from the drivers and crew side, but also from the track side. But that they should come when we can open them back up, and we can get those race fans down and check out the number 11 street stock Scott Tiedt pilots it, and it is a beautiful looking machine. He always brings it to the track in class condition. Chris, anything else comes to your mind that you gotta pull out of the green room questions?
Nope. I think you covered all the ones that I would have thought of.
All right. We're gonna head until track exit then, Chris, unless you
Yeah.
got something else.
No. One person on Facebook, because I was watching the questions, they just asked if you were going to be interested in any other divisions at Beaver Dam. So I'm guessing either moving to Grand National or mod or sport mod. Does that interest you at all, or?
We've kind of talked about some of the stuff. We're not sure. I think if I were to go in a class specifically at Beaver Dam, I would probably go more towards the Grand Nationals. I kind of like the fender racing, I guess you'd say. And I do like, there's a lot of great competitors in there, and a lot of, class act guys in there too, and I feel like I would probably be one class that I would probably really enjoy if the opportunity came.
Okay.
And the basic chassis design behind the Street Stocks and Grand Nationals. While the Grand Nationals have more tools in their toolbox, so to speak, the basic chassis, what you're working from, the platform itself, very similar. So your base of knowledge will carry you well into that Grand National.
Yep.
Well, I will say from a scoring standpoint, I never have a hard time scoring your car from year to year because your color car and like you were talking before, you wanted to be a little different on the body style and everything. It always stands out. So I always know when you're crossing the line. So
Yeah, I always try to keep the old school look, and
yeah.
although wraps and stuff do look cool, I'm always one guy that tries to stay away from that kind of stuff and keep more of the plain, basic, old school look to them.
Yeah. Well, I think that's it. Thank you for being my first guinea pig as far as these Zoom meetings go, because I still want to try to get the drivers out there to the fans a little bit more than just on the track. So much appreciated.
No problem.
Any other thoughts, Jerry?
I'm going to say we're just going to turn it into track exit, Chris. We'll do a wrap up and remind everybody racing Saturday night, Beaver Dam Raceway. Street Stocks are running with the Legends and the IRA sprint cars. Pit opening, what do we got, Chris? Pit opening is 3:30. Fan side, I don't know what time that opens up.
Fan side, I'm pretty sure is 4:30.
Yeah, but
if we get there earlier, we might open it up for the pits for the pit side, but I don't know.
Yeah, but boy, if Mother Nature cooperates, it's going to be an awesome show, and you can check out Scott Tiedt in that beautiful number 11 car. And hey, he's going to get to do something that he's probably never done on dirt, qualify, which will be something special. So be sure and get there early and check that out. Otherwise, I think looks good, Chris, and we'll look to do this again, same time, same bat channel next week, right?
Yep, I'm gonna have to figure out who the drivers are, but I will post and let everybody know. All right, have a good night, everybody.